Hey guys, welcome again to today's teaching. All I do is simple: help African businesses to grow their export revenue by finding them buyers abroad. Yes, that's what we do. One of the biggest challenges I see that most African businesses have is how to find buyers abroad. And that's what I am here to help you. I typically like to talk about the messages and the questions people ask me. And somebody was asking me, how do I price my product for export? Now, I know I have treated this topic before, but I'm going to treat it once more because it is very important. Why do I say it's very important? In our working with various businesses, I've seen businesses who are losing money because they are pricing their product too low. They are selling too low. And I've also seen some who are losing market share because they are pricing at ridiculous prices, even though they can lower the cost that they want to sell and still make money. Export price. You want to go into export. How do I determine my price? The first thing that we know for any business, right? You already have your local production. You are already selling locally. This could be you manufacturing the product, or it could be you buying from somebody locally and trying to sell that product. So obviously, when you do local production, you have your local production costs. Okay, so let's just, for sake of simplicity, call it X. You obviously have your profit, obviously, or I can call it local profit, whichever one you want to call it. And let's call that Y. Your local selling price, let's call that Z is equal to X plus Y. Forget that we're doing some algebra here, but I know most of you understand what I'm talking about. So local selling price is X plus Y. You've made your profit, you've covered your production cost. So this is how much you are selling it locally. Now, when it comes to export, there are some things that we need to factor in, and this is very important. One thing I want you to put in mind when you are going into export. Export really is not about, I have this product, and instead of me making $1 profit when I sell it locally, I now think, oh, I want to make $20 in profit when I sell it, export it. In some cases, you can make such, but in most cases, remember that you have competitors also. You have people from different countries who are trying to sell the same product to the same export buyers. So you have to be sure of your pricing and be realistic. The key thing is with export is that we get paid in dollars and you can grow the volumes at which you're selling. I'm going to do some other computations here that is very important. A lot of times, a lot of you ignore this. And when you now get your products to wherever it is that you're shipping it to, and all these extra costs start adding up, you end up losing. But because you have shipped it, you continue to put in those costs just so that you don't lose the whole thing. So I'm going to clean all this and I'll just leave the local selling price, Z. So we have our local selling price as what? Z. So when it comes to export, what is it that we are dealing with? First, before you export, you need to know a lot of times you have to move the goods from your factory to the port, right? That is a cost that is part of export. So you have the local logistics cost. Okay, let's call that A. So now your product have moved from your factory to the port, your local port. The next is your international shipping cost. Let's call that B. Okay, obviously somebody's going to ship it, and this could be air or sea, obviously. I'm a big fan of sea for export, right? Because it lowers your cost of transportation and makes you more profitable, makes you more competitive. Now let's look at the next one is your international clearing cost. Why am I separating all this? Because a lot of you have made mistakes. You go to a shipping company and they give you the shipping cost and you assume that is all the cost. But all of a sudden you get a bill that says, look, that thing you shipped for $100, they are telling you you're going to need about what, $70 or $80 to clear it. And you didn't factor it in your initial computation. So you begin to lose. You need to have all these things in mind before you even start exporting. Now, the next one is your international warehousing cost. Again, like I said, I am a big fan of exporting and shipping via sea because it makes you a lot profitable. But again, if you need to move fast and it's still profitable, air is a good option. What are we talking about here when we talk about international warehousing costs? If you are going via ocean, you would have built some buyers, right, over time. For those of you who are new, yes, it's a way to build buyers. So you ship those pallets, right? So each pallet may have maybe 200 pieces, 200 pieces. You ship this pallet and then you send it. You send it to that warehouse internationally. And when people order, they dispatch it from the warehouse. Now, we offer this service and it's something that a lot of people are using to save so much money. Right? So you have to factor in that warehousing cost. And I'll show you shortly how you look at that. What I'm trying to show you is what companies who move from maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month to $100,000 a month are doing. If you want to grow via export, you need to follow this process. Now, in certain cases, you are going to have international marketing costs. A lot of people ignore this, and at the end of the day, they have the product in the warehouse and they are running Facebook ad, they are running Instagram ad, but you haven't factored it. If you don't factor this in, you are losing money without tracking it. Now, one of the things you need to understand, especially when you are selling products per unit, because again, if you're selling on Amazon or you're selling to wholesale buyers, you need to know the unit cost of what you are selling. So we are going to figure out the per unit cost of all this. So when I say international logistics cost, everything there has to be per unit. How do you determine that? Again, it's simple. You go to a company that does the shipping. Here, we already know our local selling price per item. And then you go to this company, they tell you to ship a pallet, and that pallet may be, 48 by 40 by 36 inches in height. And this pallet is going to contain maybe 500 of your items. You know the logistics cost to move it to the port. You know the international shipping cost because the shipping line would have given you the cost. You know the clearing cost, they would have given it to you. You know the warehousing cost of this per month. Right? Typically, I like to base my warehousing cost per month. And then you know the marketing cost if you are going to spend some amount of money in marketing. And then when you add up all of that, I'm going to call that EXP. When you add up the total export cost divided by the unit, that will give you the per item cost. Because again, remember, when you are selling this product to a store, they are going to ask you how much is each of them. What is the per item? Right? If you have 24 in a box, then it's 24 times whatever is your per item cost. So you need to get this right. We have an Excel template that we give some of our customers that easily computes all of this, right? So that is the EXP per item cost. The next thing you need to understand is what I call my base minimum price. My base minimum price. And I call that my BMP. And that is equal to what? My local pricing plus what? My EXP. That is the lowest cost you will ever sell to anybody if you want to maintain that local profit. Remember when we talked about Z, Z is X plus Y, where X is your production cost and Y is your profit. Now you've already made profit here, so it's already factored into this. Your Z is what? X plus Y plus EXP. So your profit is there already. This is your base minimum price that you will ever sell to anybody. But again, remember, the essence of us going into export is that we want to be more profitable than selling locally. You need to understand this. It's very simple. Factor in all the export costs. You have your local selling price, you add it, and you get your base minimum price. How much do you now sell the product? This is where a lot of people get it wrong. How much you sell your product depends on where you are selling. It's not the same for everything. And I've seen so many sellers make this mistake. The price that they want to sell on Amazon is the same price that they want to sell to local stores, is the same price they want to sell direct to consumers. It doesn't work. you are going to lose a lot of sale if you use that method. Let's take, for example, my sales channels. So what are the various sales channels that I'm trying to sell my product, right? So let's say the first one is Amazon. Remember, I have already exported these products to a warehouse locally. Like I said, we help you do all this warehousing. You've already exported it to a local warehouse, and now you're going to send it to Amazon, right? What are the costs involved in getting those things to Amazon? There are a couple of costs. Now, the first cost, I'm going to call it AMZ. Remember, most of you are going to do fulfillment by Amazon, meaning that you're going to ship the product to Amazon's warehouse, and it's Amazon that is going to do the sale, the dispatch, all the customer service. It's a wonderful model. Make sure you are using it. So first, you have the dispatch to Amazon. Then you're going to have, for those of you who have been following me who are selling on Amazon, you know you have the Amazon seller fee. Out of every product you sell, Amazon will take a certain percentage. That's the Amazon seller fee. Then plus the Amazon fulfillment fee. And this will give you your AMZ. So these are going to be the costs that is going to cost you to sell on Amazon. So now if you want to price it to sell on Amazon, what is going to be that price? Remember that you are trying to make more profit by selling abroad. That is just the essence of going into export. If you are going to make the same profit locally, then there's probably no need going into export in the first place. How much should I sell on Amazon now? Amazon selling price is now equal to what? Remember our base minimum price, which is the cost to land the product in the warehouse, right? The cost you are going to sell on Amazon is now your base minimum price plus all the Amazon costs, plus AMZ, you are exporting to make more profit. And I'll call it AMZ premium. That is how much you are going to sell that product on Amazon. What is the Amazon premium? Is the extra amount above the profit that you make selling locally that I call the AMZ premium. But the problem a lot of you make is you don't even know what your BMP is. You just go there. How much are you selling this product? You put it there. At the end of the day, some of you are making a loss without knowing it. And then at times, some of you will price your product too high that nobody buys it because you have not factored all these things into account. This accounts for the fact that you want to export and you want to make more money because you are exporting. And all this should be computed in dollars. So we get that straight. So number two, if I were selling it to a retail store, how much will I sell it? My retail selling price is now equal to what? I'm sure by now you know the BMP, my base minimum price, plus what? My retail markup. I'll call it my retail premium. And again, my retail premium is the extra I add because I'm going into export. Right? And this could be any amount. If you look at it and you do your research and you see that those who are selling to these African stores, those who are selling to all these other US retail stores are selling at a significant higher price than your base minimum price, then you can increase this. But the key thing is that knowing your base minimum price, you will never lose. The essence of going into export is not to lose money. And I can tell you, I have done analysis, I've looked at pricing for so many companies, and they are losing money without knowing it. They keep saying, oh yeah, in future we will make money. No, I'm not a believer of business where you first lose money. There's a lot of companies that have that mindset. You must be able to compute this so that you are profitable from day one. What happens tomorrow if all your projections don't turn out to be as you expected? The last one, if I decide, say, I want to sell direct to consumers, how much do I sell? So my direct price is equal to what? My BMP plus, I can call it whatever, my direct premium. That's simple as that. Export is easy. It is profitable. You can grow very fast. But make sure in all that you are not losing money. Let's go through it one more time so you get a good grasp. If there is anything you didn't pick up initially, you will get a quick revision of it. So again, first, you already have that product, right? Local production. You know how much you're selling it locally. And again, your local selling price already includes your profit, Y, and your cost of production. So from here, you are making money. Even if you are going into export, you should not lose. That profit must be there. Then you factor in your export costs. There may be more costs than this. What other costs could you have here? You could have your licensing costs. Why I didn't put it there is because those are one-time costs. The cost to get your FDA food facility registration or your cosmetic facility registration or the cost to do some licensing to get your organic certifications, those are one-time costs. So I'm not going to put it here because these are variable costs that depends on the volume of your shipment. So once you've determined your local logistics cost, a lot of people don't factor this in. They are spending so much money to move the container to the port, but they are not factoring it into their selling price. And they're just writing it off as an expense in doing business. It must be factored in. And then you have your international shipping cost, your international clearing cost. A lot of people neglect this. They go to a shipping company, they give them the cost, and they forget that they may add clearing cost. And then 2-3 months later, when the container arrives, they see another bill, and you've not factored it in. And then you have your warehousing cost. If you want to be big in export, you must be shipping via sea. 95% of world commerce goes via sea. And that's because that is the only way it can be profitable. If you are still doing air, then you haven't become an active exporter. There's what I call active and passive. Passive exporters are those who are not making money until they have an order before they ship out. The active exporters are those who are sleeping and they are making money in their sleep. We try to develop every African business to become active exporters. All right. Then, with this plus that, we get our base minimum price. You must not sell below your base minimum price when your products are in the warehouse. From our base minimum price, we are now able to determine how much to sell in various channels. And again, like I say, the biggest mistake most of you have made in the past is thinking that you can sell in all these various channels at the same price. It doesn't work. How much you sell on Amazon has to be different from how much you are selling to retail stores because there are different dynamics. In Amazon, you have the dispatch cost to Amazon, you have the Amazon seller fee, you have the Amazon fulfillment fee. You must add all that cost into your base minimum price plus an Amazon premium because you are exporting to get your Amazon selling price. If you are selling to retail stores, the base minimum price plus your retail premium, because again, you must make more money because you are exporting. That will give you your retail selling price. And then what else? Your direct to consumer, you add your direct premium. So again, that's the end of this video. It's a very easy process. Just follow this. Now, again, like I said, send me a DM, send me a message, send me a question. All these things I bring about is simple. I want to empower African businesses to earn in dollars by exporting their products abroad. And for you to do that, you need to do the right thing. Look, I'm a firm believer in what Africa has, and that's why I say we have the opportunity to increase the wealth of Africa. For those of you who want more help, more consultancy, if you are a company and you are struggling to find buyers abroad, you don't know how to ship, you don't know how to warehouse, we offer all those services. And I can tell you for a fact, if we touch your product, we turn it into gold. See you another day. Bye.